Gonna wait for the stream reset to catch up to me real quick, and then we'll get started. So we're gonna get started on a session of 1 minute poses for 20 minutes, and so 21-minute poses. And what we want to be doing is something along these lines right here. What you're seeing on the left on my screen right now is what you want to be doing. Very simple lines. Very simple lines for. Let me actually bring that over here so I can show you what I mean. I'm gonna. So very simple lines for. Move it so to get the spot. So very simple lines for like the line of action of the body, the head, the tilt of the hips, the tilt of the shoulders, and very simple lines for the limbs. So we do have a minute to do these. I might actually make these 30 seconds. If people are cool with it, let's try this for 30 seconds because it forces us to make quick decisions. And I think this is a good speed for 30-second poses. Try to make long, clean lines, sort of like what I am. So the lines you're going to be using this evening are C, S, I. C curve, S curve, and straight. As you can see on this, I use basically like a sphere is basically two C curves. There's another C curve there, right there. On this invented figure I just did. There's another C curve that's bending in right there. This is kind of a little bit bent, but this is kind of a straight. A good place to use here's a figure in profile. A good place to use the S curve is on the spine, for example. But I think that like in a profile view, a good way to use the C curve is down the whole S curve is down like the whole body for something like that. But we want long, clean, confident strokes. Like I want you guys to make a personal rule for yourself. Try to minimize as much. Try to avoid doing this, and try to avoid like line spillovers and like drawing over the line multiple times. Try to avoid that stuff. Instead, I want you to draw. I want you to make decisions. Sometimes your decisions will be wrong, and that's okay. The point of doing these like 30-second poses that we're about to do is that it's aim training for you. You'll get a chance to get it right or get it wrong every time. And another thing I want you to do is try exaggerating a little bit what you're seeing. Like if a figure looks about like this, then you can push it even beyond that a little bit. Like really tilt the hips and really tilt the shoulders and stuff. You don't have to go as crazy, but try pushing it slightly. Stan Prokopenko has an example that I yoinked in here somewhere, I think. I don't think it was able to, actually. Oh, here it is. But here's an example. Like, this is literally what you're seeing right here is how you should be drawing the 30-second poses right there. Really simple, gestural. Like, he does a little bit of line spillover. I said avoid, not entirely eliminate. So, like, some spillover is okay. But you do want like confident, efficient lines for these 30-second poses we're about to do. So I'm going to put up on screen here probably the best example I can find of how I want you drawing right now. So like this one on the left here. So we'll put that one up there. And just on the right is like an example of what the next steps would be, basically, of like adding additional dimensionality to the gesture and stuff. So we'll get started on that shortly. So let me scoot that over here. Stretch this out. Oh, there's another image up there. Another good example right there. We'll leave that there. Maybe I can scoot another image in here, actually. Yeah, let's scoot that one in there. That one's a good one. But yeah, these are good examples. We'll have them on screen for you to refer to while doing these. Hope that's enough space. Space. Alrighty, folks. Let's get going. So 30-second poses. We are starting. Okay, Google, set timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes, and we're starting now.
All right, let's get going. Okay. So it's very important that we don't get caught up in detail here. I'm going to be kind of like, there's going to be an adjustment period when you start doing these. Not going to lie. Yeah, I kind of like took a little too long on that one. Let me kind of scoot this over a bit so we have more space for the gesture drawing page. But even if you don't get the whole figure, practicing good line work and getting what little you did get down right is better than rushing through. Oh, this is a bad photo. Let's get that one. Remember, this isn't a race. I mean, like, this is 30 seconds, but this isn't a race. So if you only manage to get like the head down and a line of action for the 30 seconds, that's fine. Like, you want to slow down first so you start getting the stuff right before you speed up. And we're going to be doing more 30-second sessions this evening, so don't sweat about getting it right the first time. It's going to take some adjustment. And if you need to, you can use like continuous lines, kind of like Japanese cuneiform figures. Sort of plot out the general pose. So this one we get that. So there we go. I think that's the first complete figure I've gotten of these. The head, get the overall sweep of the body going back there, shoulders. Draw through the form a little bit for the leg back there. Head. Kind of like the lean of the body here. Look at the pelvis. You can include a little bit of the center line here. Emphasize the twist. So, head, shoulders, hips, leg there, that, that, and in the 5 seconds I have left, include a bit of the rope. Head, drawing over one of the other figures right now, but that's okay. Probably zoom back a bit though. I'm drawing a little bit tightened up in here, so I better see how much page real estate I have. Right, I better create a new page then. And a bit more. This guy is like practically a pyramid, sort of. His palms out there on the ground. Overall feeling of the figure here. But nice arch on these 30-second poses. I don't really need much more than that, honestly. That's a very crunchy photograph. Sorry about this one, folks, but let's do our best on this one. Let's see. Guy's a pretty famous Italian bodybuilder, I think. Tilt to the pelvis, tilt to the shoulders, add some arms. Center line there. Actually, I don't even need that. Add shoulders. On sweep down there. Oh, I did a spillover, didn't I? Watch that. Trying to do a little bit from memory there. This guy. Head. Down the body. Shoulders. Pelvis. Yeah. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
12 minutes and 18 seconds to go.
Nice. That gives us about like what, 24 more drawings? Something? I don't know. Not really in calculator mode right now. There we go. Nice simple sweep of the body right there. Let's include a little bit of the dimensionality of the head and the time I have left. A little bit of the hips. A very dynamic run pose. Head. Do the sweep of the spine. Whoa. Actually, no. I need to simplify this even more, don't I? I need to do this. kind of screwed myself up by trying a little bit too proportional to the edge of the page, too out of proportion to the edge of the page there. Gotta watch that. Yeah. Simple formula: head, line of action, additional limbs like legs and so on, and the tilt, if the angle allows for it, of the torso and the pelvis. And the goal is to get the overall kind of rhythm of the pose, like the underlying like action of it. Yeah. Lovely. This is a very dynamic wind-up pose. Let's see what we can do with this. So she's like really emphasizing that lean in her body there, so I'm gonna push that a little bit. A little bit off, but it's a nice experiment. You can try like quick experiments like these. You only have 30 seconds to do these in, so gotta work fast, and when an experiment doesn't quite work out, you can move on to the next one. Like, I got really cramped there, actually. I'm gonna get rid of that because it's not a good idea for me to keep continuing on that page when I don't have enough space. Let's do this one. Yeah. Sometimes you can start with the line of action instead of the head. It actually might be a good idea for me to start doing that a little bit more too. Whoops. Kind of caught up in the legs there. Three, two, one, go. I love those stock photo watermarks. always annoying when I find like a really dynamic pose to use as reference, and it's just like this the stock photo type stuff. One thing that probably might help me a little bit is if I plot out the tilts before I do the line of action. That actually kind of helps to orient me a little bit sometimes. Depends on the pose, really. How's anyone who's on mic doing right now?
Drawing frantically.
Yeah, they shouldn't be drawing frantically. Like you don't worry about getting like the not getting the whole pose down in one go. Like you want to slow down before you can speed up. Like if you're just getting like the head and like the tilts and the line of action or something. Because again, it can take some adjustment if you're not used to doing something like this. But we'll do some ones after this. Those are going to feel like going in slow motion after doing these.
Do you know where your other mask is?
Also, if you are like even if you're not getting the whole figure down, as long as you're practicing clean lines, you're doing the right thing. Like clean, continuous, steady lines. Draw from your shoulder, not your wrist. Try to get like nice, smooth S curves, C straights, and C curves. Like don't do this. It can be a little disorienting if you're not used to drawing this way, but you have to get used to drawing this way. I know I do. I've fallen into the habit of drawing really kind of scribbly. That's a bad habit to get into, and I kind of lost self-awareness about what I was doing with that. There we go. That actually kind of feels like the pose right there. It's cool, like occasionally, like you can kind of, as you start to get more in tune with this stuff, like these you start seeing how like a few simple lines can imply like a really can imply like a whole action a little bit better. You also learn to not think so literally about what you're looking at too. Okay, Google, stop. Last one. It's really important because when you're figure drawing, you are not copying, you are interpreting and breaking down using a series of like rules and principles of interpretation for figure drawing. Okay, we'll pause there. Okay, Google, set timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, and we're starting now.
So how's everyone feeling right now? Feel free to post your gesture drawings that you did for warm-ups in chat, in the classroom chat.
Which
Discord.
server?
We'll go with Ethan's right now because that's where I'm at right now. But in the future, I'm definitely going to be making like. Let me show you on stream. Right here. I do have a classroom chat section here on my server, but we're not currently using it right now. One thing I do want to show you is this is very important. The homework. Well, no, but yeah, the homework posting section. I already showed you a little bit of that. So post your homeworks from there and your works in progress or other things like that related to the class later that you want critique on. We also have an art feedback and animation feedback section here. Art general chat
related
stuff.
to the class later that you want critique on. We also have an art.
I can hear my own voice.
Art general chat.
Yeah. Please try to avoid me hearing my own voice if you can. Let's see here. I got a DM. I got to check real quick. Oh, that's neat. So anyone who might qualify for any of these positions at Nickelodeon right now, they're hiring for these roles at the moment. I don't think I qualify for any of these. I'm an animator and a visionist, not a storyboard artist. But if you qualify for any of the positions
Thank
that
you
are
for
on screen
doing
right
all
now,
this.
then feel free to apply for them. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna organize my gesture drawings. I kind of haphazardly threw these together. I'm gonna put these into folders real quick. Go. So the Proco gesture drawing series is really worth looking at. That's what I was screening before the class began tonight. I do recommend checking them out. Just do a YouTube search for Proco gesture drawing, and it should come up with it. It actually there's like some weird this particular list right here. I think this particular list is incomplete.
Hey there.
Oops.
Hey there.
No, get off the screen. I don't want to get pepper boinked. Damn it. Get off. But yeah, there should be some Proco gesture stuff. I think this is the one that has like the Proco gesture person might have the stuff I'm talking about. But they're really, really good to consult. There's different ways to handle gesture, and as I showed you, like that one apparently Pixar artist that was on screen before the class began, they had some like more kind of animator oriented stuff. And I've included some examples of that. This is some gesture drawing from Francis Glabas right here. This is more like kind of cartooned, animator oriented, storytelling, story driven gesture drawing. I think that one was like a 30-second pose or something like that, and this one's like a 1 or 2 minute or something. Yeah, like this kind of stuff that's like more story driven, and usually with costume models. We're going to be working our way towards that kind of stuff at some point. Let me show you actually an example from my own portfolio of this kind of stuff that I want to work us up into. This is a page from my portfolio right here that shows off basically what I'm showing off with that animator technique I'm talking about, and some other examples here of like pushing the story and the story of the pose and so on. Oops, some nudes down there. Let's get off of there. Yeah, that's from my portfolio site. And that's like the kind of thing that we're going to eventually be pushing towards and pushing ourselves into. But you can see like on this page right here, this is a page of like shorter poses with the same model. And they are basically using the same technique that we're doing tonight with like these very simple cuneiform figures. And then I went back through and I added like a few details like the stripes on the outfit she's wearing and the details of like her huge glasses and her huge glasses and like okay, Google, stop. I'll go over this some more, but yeah, like I actually like for this technique right here, when you get a figure model for a figure model session, it's sometimes a good idea to basically create what amounts to a figure model. Like we create some loose guideline rules that you are going to use for yourself for the session. So as you see over here, these kind of head drawings I was doing exploring. I think I did these like before she actually started doing her posing or something. I was exploring some ideas of like how I do her head. I like the triangular nose, the kind of wedge, very stylized European looking hair, modernist European looking hair and stuff. Because I really wanted to push going in that direction, and that kind of gave me enough to like play off of to create this kind of exaggerated story-driven character poses and stuff. And this is some more of the stuff. These are from life figure drawings. Like these are pushing story poses and so on, like trying to get a sort of a wonky sort of look and feel stuff. Like there was Tom Waits music playing when we were doing these during the figure drawing session I was in and stuff. For these ones right here, these are really huge. These are actually more smudged than they were when I did them initially, yeah, got a lot out of that particular session. Some more right here, some more push. This is like this was from a session where we started with like trying to make a cartoony version of what the figure was up there in front of us, and then we pushed it to try to like exaggerate it. And this is me down here trying to emulate Ralph Steadman. Right there. Like picking an artist to mimic the style of for a session, basically. But yeah. Those are some, this is examples of like the animator-oriented direction we're going to be pushing in the future. And for today, we're going to be looking mainly at like this kind of stuff right here. And this kind of stuff, where we get down to like simplicity. This is where we're heading. Like this is the kind of stuff that I've just showed you that was in my portfolio. This is also where we're heading. This is an action study using a figure in motion. This is also another place that we're going to be heading in the future in these gesture classes. These figure drawing classes. This is a Pixar artist sketchbook right there, I think. That's another Pixar artist sketchbook, I believe, right here. This one's from some field sketching that they did. This one's also a Pixar artist, I believe. This is a really pushed pose by Mike Matisse. Using the force method right there. Just something we're going to be getting into more. And anyway, so take a look at this on screen on my on Twitch. This is a good example of how to think of the line of action and the longest axis of a pose from the Proco videos. So keep an eye out for that when we do our poses tonight. And here's a much more elaborate example. Like if you have a little bit more of an understanding of generally how like the anatomy of a figure works a little bit, you can pull off something like this. I need more practice at that so I can get on that level pro. But we're going to be all working towards that together. It's okay to fight and to struggle with this. And yeah, here's a good procedure example right there. I'm going to actually upload this to the Discord class chat, this file that I have. So you can refer to it as like a reference point if you get lost and you need to get reoriented what you're going to be trying to do this evening. Here, let me see. Discord, where'd you go? There you are. So I'll upload this to classroom chat right now, and I'm going to take a quick peek at people's let's take a quick peek at what people posted so far, but we are going to get right back into another 20-minute post session of I think probably we'll make it 1 minute this time. But we'll go back to 30 seconds at some point. So let's see here. Adjust your drawings. I can't find it. Well, as just for examples 1A. Okay, well it should be in that folder then. There it is. Found it. Okay, uploading to chat now. All right, so I'm going to get us a set of 1 minute poses. There might be some repeating poses in here, but that's okay. You'll get to draw the pose again at 1 minute. So we'll get started on that very shortly. Okay, Google, set timer for 20 minutes. Okay, Google, set timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now.
There you go. I'm going to move this over. Maybe we can get like a good smattering of inspiration up in the corner of the screen here. That. I'll tell you what, I'll actually stream that screen for people. That is going to be streamed. And let's put it in 1080p, 15 FPS. That should be okay. Yeah, that's going to be streamed directly to the Discord. That entire thing. So if you want to see that at full resolution for inspirational drawing, that. So I had to skip that first pose, shameful. But I'm going to get started now. I'm going to try to make this a little bit more formulaic. I'll zoom all the way into 100%. And every time I get a drawing done, I'm not going to zoom in and out. I'll just move to the right. I have more time to not panic and make smarter decisions. So I'm going to basically do it like a slow-mo version of what we did in the 30-second posing. If I have extra time for stuff, there's all kinds of things I can add in, play with in the time that we have. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to like take these slow. Like I'm not worried about the timer beating me. I want to make smart decisions in the 1 minute that I have without worrying about the clock. All the clock is doing is just going to keep me moving on at a steady pace. If I don't complete a figure, then in the time that I have, and that's okay. So I see Rio Leah in chat says that this is their second time doing gesture drawing. They're already feeling themselves improve. Yeah. As long as you're not like getting caught up on like too much detail too quickly, the act of like observationally trying to draw a figure is going to help you. That's tricky. This one I actually kind of slipped into 30-second mode on a little bit, so I got kind of sloppy. That's okay, because you know what? There's another drawing right around the corner.
Beefy man.
Mm-hmm.
I'll call him Italian All Might.
That there is what you call the pizza diet body. Oh, speaking of which, that reminds me, I'm thinking of having like a server warming party or sometime over the weekend. Like where we play Jackbox or like do a draw pile, Agio or something together. I don't know if it'll be a live stream or not, but it'll be like it'll be just like fun stuff we do in the new server I've made. I think as long as you know what you're going to be trying to do and not panicking, you can get a lot out of these. And varying the timing of doing those like 30-second poses and then going to this feels like you have like all the time in the world to do what you were trying to do in the 30-second poses. And then you're going to be surprised when we go back to the 30-second poses again. You're going to feel like, wow, I can handle the 30-second poses a lot easier now. Have you ever tried playing a fighting game in slow motion and then and then played it again in fast motion, for example? Like, have you ever, like, for example, in Smash Brothers, I used to do this. Like, I would play it, but I found that I would like improve a lot playing Smash when I would play the game in like a slow-mo mode for a while and get used to the muscle memory of pulling off the moves in slower motion. And then when I moved to regular motion, like the muscle memory was there for me to follow through. And I noticed like on-screen cues for things a lot easier because I'd seen them in slow motion before and had time to train myself to know how to react to them. That same sort of thing when you do these timed poses like this, where you vary the timing and what you do with them. Like we went from doing 30-second poses, which were kicked our butts, we're doing 1-minute poses, where we're doing the same idea as the 30-second pose, but we're doing it slower and more carefully. Then when we go back to doing the 30-second poses again, those are going to come out better than they did the first time. We won't master the 30 seconds overnight, obviously, but we will notice a improvement. I wanted to get to looking at some of the Discord posts people made, but we'll do that during the next break. I'm going to try to see if I can get to how to play with inserting anatomy into these a little bit later. We've been practicing torso anatomy earlier in the week. And it's easy when you're doing like a lot of anatomy studies to kind of stiffen up. I think I got a little stubby with the leg on the right. Well, the legs aren't handled the best. Maybe more like that. Even if you're making an incorrect, we can erase some of them, some of the lines if you want. But if you're making a incorrect, even if you're making an incorrect stroke, as long as it's like a confidently executed stroke, you can see what went wrong with it. Confidently and cleanly executed stroke. Because you're not doing so much sketching, like, well, first off, you're practicing your efficiency by doing this, even if you get the clean lines in the wrong spot. But redoing the line, if you want to fix it again later, isn't going to be as much of an issue. It's not going to like wiggling your hand down the pose and like trying to scrape it out and try to find something and stuff. No, you want to be practicing like this. Like you want to be training your aim, like when you're practicing at like the gun range and stuff, for example. You're gonna want to like be careful about taking your shots and shooting. You're probably not going to be you're probably not going to get much better as a marksman if you just blast randomly and as quickly as possible at the target. You want to take slow, like controlled shots to get the control you need. But of course, you vary it up. Sometimes you fire quicker to challenge your like your reaction time. Main thing is don't be sloppy. And I am horribly sloppy, and me setting these rules right here is for me as much as it is for you guys. The tables have turned. The teacher becomes the teach ed. Or whatever. Already this lineup, just the fact that I'm organizing these, now I can like track my progression easier. And this is going to also assist me in improving and reevaluating what I'm doing. I kind of started like balls to the wall for that first 30-second session, but now I've kind of like reeled it back in a bit onto a page where I can control or place things a little bit easier. spoke too soon because I let my attention wander and I drew this one a little bit larger than I probably should have. Like one of the rules I set for myself is I'm going to try, as I didn't want to zoom in and out. I want to keep it at 100%. That one's a little big. I'll just shrink it. Put it back over there so I have more space. Oh, I don't like that line. I'm gonna do it. That's good. There we go. So for that one, I actually fell into using like the box body approach to animate, to doing like an animation, um, like this kind of thing right here. One of the many ways to approach like simplifying the figure for animation. See if I can pull off something like that on this dude. I so want to go back to like a live figure drawing class in the future. The teacher wants to become the teach ed in the future. Like when I start raising more money, I'm sure as heck gonna enroll in as many life drawing classes as I can. Oh, that's a lot better. That is a lot fucking better. You can actually tell what they're doing now. See, look, it's all controlled. It's not like I spoke too soon because this pose right here is so tricky. So I'm not gonna be too worried about anyone who doesn't quite wrap their heads around what's happening with this pose. Yeah, I don't know. I want to do a draw over of this pose because it's really tricky. It's such a curveball. But I'll keep that. But I did that S curve right there. That was fine. I'm satisfied with that. Move on to the next one. That's this guy again. Cool. I'll do a line of action that actually starts from his foot this time. Yeah. And I wound up not leaving enough room for the rest of the arm, so I'll just vignette it. Like, more of his arm would be continuing up there. And
Hello.
I'm going to do a slight spillover to do this.
What website is that?
On a website, this is my own personal collection of images that I yanked from like Pinterest. And I'm using it through an app called Gesture Drawing. Gesture Drawing 3, which is available on QBrush for 15 bucks. There are websites that have timed poses and stuff you can use though, like line of action, for example. Rip, my only pencil ran out of lead. Oh. Well, I mean, you can use a Sharpie if you got any of those. Did you see that that Pixar artist was actually using a Sharpie? That is a common animator class tool. Class tool for animators. The art course on QBrush. There's a lot of art courses on QBrush. I can't speak to how good or bad that is. It the Mark Brunette class? I'm just gonna play with this a little bit and add some details of the limbs in there, just for fun. Steve. Is this guy a footballer or a rugby player, or looks like he might be a footballer? European footballer. He looks very European. Extremely dynamic dude, too. Like, if you're ever in a pinch for a superhero anatomy pose, this guy's pretty freaking rad. A lot of cool shit going on with this deltoid there, man. Yeah, that's why I don't want to do spillover. Remember, we make no mistakes. Commit to your lines, my dudes. Like, I made this really crappy looking thing right there. I'm gonna leave it there. Okay, Google, stop. All right, so there was a little bit of inconsistency with me with the keeping the size keep it at the right size. Like I've really got to fight that habit for this. But these are looking a lot better. So we're going to be going back to doing 30-second poses after we. Okay, Google, set a timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, starting now.
That's some. All right, let's take a peep at classroom chat. Whoops. Boots, those are looking pretty all right, I'd say. I think those are the 30-second ones. I think so. For 30 seconds, that's pretty good.
Yeah, those are my 30 seconds.
Yeah, just keep trying to connect all the rhythms together so they don't get piecey. Like the ones where you're the most successful, I think, are like ones like this one, or ones like the ones where it feels like it's everything's going on one kind of continuous flow, where it's all kind of flowing together. So I think try to keep the lines flowing together and playing against each other as much as possible, and use as few lines as you can. This one, I think the most successful figure here is this one. From my general impression, this is like I know you were kind of like jumping right into this real fast, but we need a cleanly organized page so I can see what you're doing. This is kind of the same problem I ran into when I started doing the session this evening, where kind of trying to do everything on the same page and it all jammed together. I mean, I do see some stuff in here that's pretty good, but that one right there, that one feels probably the best to me of anything on this page. There. That one's pretty good too. There. But let's see. So this one you are running into the sketchy problem right here and here, where it starts to get a little bit ambiguous. You want those continuous lines. This one right here is good. That one's pretty all right. That one kind of these two got a little bit too close to each other, so it's hard to tell what they're doing now. But yeah, That one's looking okay. Yeah, we just keep at it. Yeah, more cleaner lines. I see some little bits of unsteadiness, like here, where you get a little confused on that one pose that was really tough. Yeah, keep trying to push your confidence and keep trying to like draw continual lines through the figure and stuff. Traditional sketchbook stuff here. You're kind of trying to wrap your head around the method a bit. You're doing quite a bit of line spillover. I would try to avoid that for these. You want as few lines as possible and to commit confidence to the lines that you do make. Same thing here, like we need fewer lines and you need to commit to what you're doing for these. I mean, it is like later on it's okay. It's going to be okay to do more spillover and sketchy stuff, especially when you're kind of feeling out like the overall kind of looseness of the gesture. But for these that we're doing right now, we want as clean as possible. Yeah, same note. We want more cleanliness. Same note again. Better page organization and more cleanliness. Like try to organize something along the lines of what I did, where you can clearly see each pose apart from each other. You can you get enough space. You usually get enough space to draw in. And we try to be careful about that. Like, you give yourself enough space to do the figure. So this one, I see a few good. That one's a good one right there. Like I like how you did the bow and arrow impression of the torso. This one is a good figure right there. That one's pretty good. Some of these you're starting to use. Some of these you got kind of confused on, and you did a little kind of spillover lines. This one's okay except for this back leg. So there's bits and pieces of stuff that one's pretty good. There's bits and pieces in here that you actually handled this overall feeling really nicely. That tough pose that I was aggravating about that pinning one. So I would say organize the page better so you can line up the poses and give yourself enough space so we can see everything going on at once. And avoid those draw over lines and stuff. Like keep exercising your confidence, even if you get the line wrong or if it's off or something like that. You committed to it. You want to exercise the habit of committing to a line for this. Same issue with the okay, Google, stop. Same issue with the confidence of the line. I think you're kind of still trying to wrap your head around the method. So take it slow. If anything, when you're doing these, take it so slow that maybe all you're doing is just the line of action and like a single stroke, and then like add maybe like the head and some limbs and add addition. You start with a line of action, and then you start with additional lines of action for like the limbs that might be coming off of it. Exercise continual confident lines and slow down. Try not to get everything in. Try to get it as right as you're able to. I like the feel of that one. Like how you push this. Like how you did try to line up these poses, but then we have the big size problem that I also ran into, and you kind of overlapped on there. But there is some good stuff in here. I like the push and feel of the back. This isn't the best right here, but this is like the overall feel where this is starting to go with the pushing the back heel right there is pretty neat. That one's pretty nice. Yeah, like I noticed you're trying like a couple different techniques here. That's okay if you want to do that, but I would try to kind of stick to the simplicity we're aiming for with this kind of stick figure-y mannequin thing if you can. That'll like simplify. That'll like give you a target to hit. That's a little bit more deliberate. Yeah. Same issue. I see bits and pieces of stuff that's good in some of these, and I think that you're making yourself a little bit more confused by getting a little bit too much into like adding that additional stuff on top of it too soon. So I would maybe even like slow down even more so that you can really execute those kind of like simple lines cleanly and thoughtfully. Those were the 1 minute poses versus your 30-minute poses that you posted. Yeah, I like I liked I like the dynamics of your 30-second poses a lot better. Of the ones that you pulled off better, like this one up here. I think that one a little bit. Yeah. Try to like really pay attention to that stuff. Same note here, I want more line simplicity. I do like how you organize the page, and a lot of these poses read. Some of them are a little ambiguous, like this gets a little bit ambiguous right here. I mean, I can kind of tell what he's doing, but there's not as much oomph to it, you know? You want that oomph behind the purpose of the action that you're drawing. The purpose and the feeling of the action that you're drawing. Like, there's a lot of these that feel a little bit ambiguous on that. Like, for example, like this guy right here. Like, here's my version of that, and I did it like really simple. I actually cut myself down on less time because I was doing that little demonstration there. But like, you try to like really emphasize like the feeling of it. Like if so, you get like so some of these I was a little bit more successful at trying to do that than others. Like sometimes certain poses you're not used to can throw you off. But it's like you kind of riff off, you kind of develop the habit of being able to riff off the poses and push them. So you can like really, so like if a character is, let's say a figure is like reaching for something. When you do it, you really emphasize that reach. Like beyond what the photo was doing a little bit. Like let me show like that little samurai dude there that you did. I'm gonna do this like kind of guess working like my muscle memory of what I did for that pose originally. What I didn't, what I was trying to do, but I didn't quite pull off. I'm gonna have to move this actually. Those legs are looking a little small. Eh. I'm not totally on my rhythm right now, so I'm just trying to do my best to show you. I kind of hint at what we're trying to push ourselves into doing, and I kind of need to get warmed up to it myself. But what I can do is I can lower opacity on this and maybe kind of do a quick draw. Actually, no. Actually, what we should do is the best thing we could do right now is just jump back into another set. That will. I'm not like totally warmed up to this method yet, and I think that would be the best thing to do now. So let's go back to doing 30 seconds again. So brace yourselves. See how much time do we have for that. Okay, Google, set timer 20 minutes.
20 minutes, and we're starting now.
There we go. Oh, actually, okay, Google, stop timer.
Okay, it's canceled.
So let's try this figure pack and see where that takes us. Alright, that seems pretty good. Alright, okay, we'll set timer 20 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now.
Alright. So back to 30 seconds again. Now you have to make those smart, quick decisions, but you have more insight from doing those 1 minutes. This is a clothes figure, so it's going to kind of throw you off a bit. Do your best, though. Don't get caught up in the clothes. Kind of guesstimate where the tilt is or something along those lines. Let's go for those big gestural lines. This one's a vignette. That means just do the upper torso. May give you a little bit more time to kind of emphasize certain things more than you normally would be able to. There we go. That one felt pretty good. At the little indications of the hands now. Maybe the direction of this foot. Another vignette. Another thing that'll help you when you're doing the 30 seconds is to draw a little smaller. I was drawing pretty big for my first 30-second set. And now that I've had time to kind of warm up a little bit more on some 1-minute poses. Make better judgment about that. It takes adjustment to get used to doing this, but when you start getting acclimated to it, you start like seeing where the intentionality of a pose is a little bit better. Oh, not like that. I am occasionally doing like a kind of a Control Z undo on some of the lines I don't like, but that is a habit I kind of maybe want to avoid because I'm supposed to be committed to lines here. And digital cheats like that kind of detract from me trying to do that. I may want to watch doing that. Doesn't mean that I shouldn't eliminate it entirely, but I shouldn't use it as a crutch. be a great guy to do a illustration study of. Good pose, good clear sense of what the fabric on his body is doing. Would be a good pose to do a figure practice study from, a long figure practice long pose study from. This is a very stylish comic book hero pose, I would say. It'll spill over, but that one's forgivable. That's the simplest way to handle this pose, I think. Right there. And then you can do that. One's a pose with an interesting lean to it. Let's see if I can get a little bit of that. Oh, I control Z it again. Free gift sub every time I control Z. How's that? No. I'd be broke by the end of this if I did that. So, is there anyone in voice chat that, how do they like the, anyone in voice chat has any experience with the new Discord I've set up? And how you liking it so far?
I've only spent about 30 seconds in there, so I can't really offer an opinion.
Yeah. That's cool. I would like to get people's feedback on it because I'm going to be evolving it. Some of it might be like a little bit too much too early. So I'll scale back maybe some of it. But I think with the amount of people that are in there, so long as I incentivize a reason for people to be regularly active in there, I think most of what's in there right now is fine. Needs to probably be organized a little better. Figure pose, is it? Well, you can do a vignette off this one. I wonder how this one got in here, because I was looking for figure poses. I must have yoinked this one without being fully conscious of it. Or this might be part of another series of images that I was yoinking stuff from, and I wanted this for completion's sake or something. That most likely what happened. But after you start using this, you can kind of see how using this technique, for example, to thumbnail out your ideas for a story or something, or using a simple approach like this for your initial push for conveying the meaning of a pose. You can kind of start to see how valuable this is. Yeah, I didn't successfully get the full lean of the torso there. Okay, the point of doing these is to like keep trying, keep trying. Professional model poses are like this are really fun. Let's see if we can find more photos like this. The people who look like JoJo characters in real life, basically. So that one, this one's a head drawing, so I'm going to do a quick head study. See how much I can get in 30 seconds. Not very much, but it was a nice little fun gear shift. What do you think this girl will be most likely to fight with that sword?
Bob built.
What? Yeah, my first instinct is she probably fights zombies. Or vampires. Or giant ogres. This guy is giving us a look that looks like he wants to know who Da Vinci is. Here's anime girl in real life. Wow. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
6 minutes and 53 seconds left.
I'm about to run out of space. Time for a new page. Because these are 30 seconds, so it's a little hard to keep on track of organizing them. But I'm gonna do my best. So if anything you take away from tonight, take away the practice of getting long, continuous line strokes. Instead of trying to like search stuff out, try to make judgment calls and pull off the strokes that you need. There are times when you can get sketchy, but right now we are practicing something that's going to get us more control. Filling those boots for fun. Getting flashbacks to that drawing session I showed you earlier. I'll maybe try that a little bit. I'll try to see where I can put like bits of the outfit. Yeah. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
T minus 3 minutes and 54 seconds.
Very good. A lot of poses of girls just standing around suddenly. It's a very big image pack that I've got here. So it just happens to be giving us a lot of these poses at the moment. Okay, now it's now it's down to the samurai with the cat. Apparently, there's an actual like, I think it's a series. Like a
It definitely is. I just don't remember what the name of it is.
I think it was like a samurai with a cat. I think it was literally just called Samurai with a Cat. Do a little line draw over. Oh no. Another thing about like doing that, drawing over your lines means you're wasting more time that you could be spending doing something else on the time on the drawing, the figure that you're trying to draw, and the time that you have left. You want to make those decisions. You want to get better at making those decisions. He's got kind of a bow to his body and how he's standing. Line of action. He's got. I don't have much time to do this, do I? Oh, I messed up. I'll do that. The time I have left. Start looking for like really abstract ways you can start to wrap your head around what you're seeing. Like, I guess I found a line of action by curling it around the head for that pose. Wow, that's good luck getting this one. But let's see if I can try to get the simplest idea of what is going on here. Okay, Google, stop. A little confused, but I think if we take a few lines out of that, it'll actually work better. We'll pause on this. All right. We'll pause on this, and I actually really like this pose, so let's do that real fast. All right. So, okay, Google, set timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, and we're starting now.
So we are like well over halfway through tonight, I would say. 7:10 right now. Means we got another 2 to 3 sessions of this. We just did another session of 30-second poses. I think we should go back to 1 minute. Then we will do 2-minute poses. And that'll be a little more interesting, won't it? One thing I'm going to be trying to maybe see if I can do, I'm going to try to see if I can insert some kind of anatomy knowledge. So I did say tonight that I was going to get into anatomy, but gesture takes an awful lot of concentration, doesn't it? So we'll hold off on anatomy until we get maybe to the 2-minute poses. I'll kind of talk through maybe something that might help us with using landmarks, anatomical torso landmarks on the figures. Let me do a quick drill. Just to jog my memory of the torso, of the specifics of the torso anatomy. Sternum. Wrapping over across the deltoid. Trapezius. Trapezius. External obliques. Just doing this to like kind of warm up my anatomy memorization a little bit. Iliac crest. This is a quick and dirty sort of refresher of the things I've been studying and trying to memorize over the last week. I want to get more into back anatomy because that gets really complex. So we'll be working on that next week. But just to give you an idea of what I've been up to this last week. Here, first off, this is what we did this Wednesday with some draw over demos. We're kind of playing a little bit. Also, one thing I noticed, I got this wrong right here. The abs are about here actually, so that means the pit of the crotch. Yeah, the pit of the crotch is about the same spot, but then like that, a little bit more like what the iliac crest is doing with the pelvis, like that. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you don't notice those things. Also, here's my first sketch commission that I did. One of the users in our Discord. I'm going to be doing more of those as I get more of those. I'll be generally trying out different things. I'm going to be doing like my first batch is going to look kind of like this, where I have a series of them with different sort of simple backgrounds to them, simple coloring. Then I'm going to be trying out different clip studio techniques and other things. Oh yeah, there's this landmarks, anatomical landmarks guide I did the other day. Where's the other thing? What's a snippet from the larger thing? Oh yeah, this I definitely want to actually share in chat. This is a body proportion grid that Costa gave people that I actually want to get back into memorizing some more next week. We're not going to be worried too much about it this week, but hold on to this. We are going to maybe spend a session in the near future, a session or two in the near future, trying to really memorize this, or commit this thing to memory, and utilize it. We're not as concerned about proportion right now for this gesture drawing class. We're concerned about action and loosening up and stuff. But, you know, we'll see how things go. Maybe when we get to the 2-minute pose, we can use this a little bit to kind of find ourselves. Okay, we'll stop. New layer. All right, so we're going to be going back to ones. Then we're going to do twos. And maybe we'll finish with some fives. That might be good. Okay, Google, set timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now.
Don't mind if we get a duplicate pose. I've actually got to update my repertoire of poses in the near future, but don't mind if we get mind if you get a duplicate pose. That's just an opportunity to draw the same pose that you've seen before again. Take another crack at it and see what you can do with it. Maybe even push it and exaggerate it more this time. Remember, if you get lost, look in the upper right, and that's what we're focusing on tonight, that kind of basic stick figure mannequin sort of thing. Sort of like what I'm drawing here. It's going to simplicity. Yeah, you can add a few little things to it and stuff, but we are trying to keep things really simple. At least for the ones in the 30-second poses. When we get into the twos, we'll see what we can do for that. There's going to be some anatomical landmark things that I'm going to maybe try to have us do. This pose is a bit of a curveball. But do your best. Actually, in hindsight, should have made that a head study. Oh well. There we go. I'm going to play Doctor in a Mask. You do have a slight more opportunity to play some more with detail on the 1-minute poses. So a little bit. I'm adding like some floor planes in there.
Hey guys.
What's this guy
Bruh,
doing?
bruh.
What?
Hey Blue Hat, take your shirt off.
Sorry? I'm a fan of what I did with this pose right now. Take it back a bit, actually. Let's see here. Maybe I can think about more what I'm doing with it. This. Do like a spillover exercise real quick to kind of orient myself. Kind of doing this blindly, where I'm looking at the page, and I'm only glancing back occasionally to what's happening. It's kind of warming up my visual memory a little bit. Two. What's happening? Maybe I can get a little bit of the head direction in there. Okay. 2 figures here, so you can probably do each of them as like a 30-second pose if you like. But I ran off here. But I'm gonna see if I can try to get a little bit of this guy. My initial impressions, I thought this lady was dressed as a fairy. I think she is, kind of. Very fairy-like. Got a minute, maybe I can put a bit of what she's sitting on there. The plane of it. And her stance should probably be a little wider. The hips need to be tilted more that way, I would say. That needs to be pushed back more. That's this guy again. Let's get him. I'm back down from her head, her back heel. And then from there, I can kind of infer a little bit of her waist down to her other foot. Gesture of her arm. Her head somewhere up here. And in the time I have left, I'll make some adjustments. Okay, move on to the next one now. So you do have to make careful decisions, and sometimes you mess up. But the point of doing these in continual succession is you don't get precious with your drawings, among other things. Like I pretty much got like the general gesture of what she's doing right here. Probably just add some additional details to it. Alright, I'm gonna try drawing a little smaller and see what I can do. Good one to try it on. Try drawing smaller and see how much more detail I can compact in, how much more control I might get with the gesture. In the time that I have. Not like that. That one line I made. It's a little clumsy, but I think that drawing it this size would be a little bit better. I think I'm about due for a new page. I'll skip off that one antler horn thing because I don't think that's a good figure to do. There we go. I've done like a really exaggerated version of this lady before when I was in better gesture drawing shape. Let's see what I can do in this minute that we have. There we go. I'll give you some strategies for how you do the twos when we get to those next. We're going to do that. We're going to do some twos for the next set, and then we'll do fives. Close out the evening. We'll probably do like 2, 2, 3, 5s. Close out the evening with. How's everyone feeling about this so far?
A lot better.
Yeah.
It's mostly just trying to get my brain out of its own way.
Yeah, I mean that's why you do these classes. A lot of times, like people in the industry who like get locked up throughout the week, in whatever menial, repetitive thing that they're doing for their job, coming to like a gesture drawing class is a way to loosen up, bring things back to simplicity in some cases. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
You've got 5 minutes and 55 seconds remaining.
We got roughly about 5 or 6 more poses then on this set before we get another little break. So there are some YouTubers and well streamers also who have like weight loss journeys or fitness journeys and stuff. I've got an art journey basically. That's what this is. These classes that that I'm teaching, I'm also studying this stuff as I'm teaching it. And there's definitely been improvement since I started doing these months ago. But I haven't done gesture in a while, so I'm coming back into gesture rusty and just figure drawing in general rusty. So it's good to get back into. This guy's probably worth doing an illustration study for sure. $20. Okay, I'll do some ground plane then. Got kind of a little sloppy with that dude. Legs are okay, and then some of the gesture is okay. I'm gonna try mixing it up a bit and like try to do a little bit more kind of character stuff. I'm gonna do another thing that's gonna help me loosen up more. Instead of doing sketchy lines, and this is another thing you can use to get more line confidence and make more decisions you commit to. I'm going to do the continual line exercise where I don't lift where I, for the most part, don't lift the pencil off the paper and try to scribble in the gestures that way right now for these remaining poses on the set. You can see I'm starting to stiffen up a little bit from doing these. And now, this is a good way to build confidence of like, when you're doing a continuous line, trying to find the general feel of the pose. So try that now. Taking my pencil off the paper, or the digital tablet, as it were. Kind of using my how I'm feeling around the paper to sort of think about the dimensionality, think about what I'm drawing, and make the mental connection between what I'm drawing and what I'm putting down, without stopping and starting. Sort of exploring the figure a little bit more. So I'm going to start doing these for the remainder of this session. This is not sloppiness. This is a method of trying to loosen up without being lazy. Let's see. I'm also kind of doing these semi-blind where I'm mostly looking at what I'm drawing as opposed to what's on the paper, as opposed to like what my hand is doing. Which is another good exercise to do, by the way. Blind drawing can help you kind of feel out and sympathize with the pose more and not get just caught up in the technicalities of what lines you're making.
Damn, the stream froze.
Oh, did? Refresh your browser real quick. Let me take a
There we go.
The continual line exercise is good for kind of like feeling out spatial relationships on the page. You're kind of feeling out the 3D space that you're trying to create the illusion of on the page a little bit. Okay, Google, stop. Okay, Google, set timer 5 minutes.
5 minutes, and we're starting now.
Ooh. Keep that pause there. Actually, let's keep it like on that figure. Yeah. I am really rusty at time pose figure drawing. So I'm gonna need to put in some extra time on my own. Doing this stuff too, for sure. But nice to come back to basics. Seeing an improvement in people doing the latest set, the last few sets and stuff. More and more people like doing like clean, simple lines. So you can do the continuous line thing I'm doing right now, if you like. Just make sure you feel out the pose and stuff. So we're going to be going to 2-minute poses next. I'll set that real quick. I'm going to grab a quick snack and some water. Feel free to post more stuff in chat. Take a look. Actually, let's take a look real quick at there's some successful poses in there. I think I'm starting to get a little tired. So some of the ones on that last page are good, some of them are bad. This is a much better overall page right here. I think this is the strongest overall page that I did this evening so far. Although like the poses are kind of varying in size. It's a bit of a drag. I'm gonna grab some water and a snack. Be right back. Having some cereal for dinner. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
There's 34 seconds remaining.
Goody. We'll go over a little bit before the end of the break. Okay, Google, stop timer.
All right, consider it canceled.
So I'll take a peek at what people have done. Here's Zob. Zob, I don't mind you doing your own studies and stuff, but yeah, no, these are good. Yeah, you're doing your own kind of thing here. But definitely give it a shot, the stuff that I'm showing off tonight. Of trying to like eliminate detail from the figures. And do something along the lines of what Stan Perpinko is doing. Which will be exercising getting much stronger posing in your figures if you start with that. But don't worry, we'll be doing other sessions like this in the near future too. Good few bites. Get a little flimsy with these, but I see you're trying the technique. What's going on here, I think, is that the angle that you're drawing at on this page makes it a little tricky for you to kind of pace out your figures on the page, so just be aware of that. As someone who's just getting into the technique, I like that you're trying to make clean lines. Now I want to see you play with them more, get more confident with using them. So get a lot more of these in. And see how you can push the pose and convey the action more clearly. Just some of these seem kind of like stock and static, and the intentionality of them is lost a little bit. But that's okay. I mean, like, just keep pushing it, keep trying. The fact that you're doing clean lines mean you have, as you build up the dexterity and the observation skills, you'll be able to pull off the more calligraphic gestures. This one, there's a couple of them in here that I see you're playing off the clean line stuff. There's some of them that you got kind of confused on. I'm not looking at these ones, which is like the continual line exercise. About like this. Well, the gun here, actually, that's what happened there. So this one's fine, actually. That one, yeah, that one was pulled off okay. I would say that, like, I would have anchored the leg a little further back there or something, maybe. I don't know. That one, maybe if you blew it up, that one would be a little better, but there is like some kind of tangent stuff going on with that arm there that kind of detracts from it a little bit. A lot of these, a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing in them is like a lot of the problems I see in them is stuff that would, like, you'd see less problems of them as the person kept doing more practice like this. I'm just going to try to help people course correct if I see them doing something that holds them back. Like, these are kind of piecemeal and a little bit too vague in some spots. You want to do like strong continuous lines and stuff wherever you can. Not continuous line. Clean CSI lines. Some of them I do have better feel for in here, but move on. Let's see what Rabbits has got. Rabbits is really trying to pull the line of action thing, so there is definitely a good flowy feel to Rabbits' lines of action. But I see how Rabbits is struggling with general kind of overall feeling of how a figure works. And That's going to come with a combination of doing more observation studies like this, and cross-training in other pieces of information that is missing from the puzzle of understanding the figure. But I would say keep doing stuff like this. Keep trying to get more deliberate about it. You want to try to avoid some of the problems that I was running into, where I kept having to make like my drawings more cramped, and they suffered as a result because they were either too high to the top of the page or they were kept in a little bit too close to another figure. So give yourselves plenty of space to pull off these gestures.
A lot of it's not actually age. It's just that when Clip Studio copies something, it automatically like crops everything when it brings it into Discord.
All right. But nevertheless, they did kind of feel like that they were probably running into that problem to me.
No, I don't disagree with that. I agree with that fully.
So this one, I see on several of them you are using cleaner lines, but some of them are getting kind of ambiguous and vague. Some of them I do get a better feel for like this one, for example. This leg right here, I'm just a little wobbly, but overall I like that you decided to use a straight there, more or less. I do see a clear C curve there. I do see the clear, like, a lot of this is like, I've given you guys a bunch of like Tinker Toy pieces to play with to try to interpret the figure and break down with the CSI system and so on. And a lot of it is going to be a matter of getting confident with kind of using a combination of your observation skills and using the making the mental connection between what you're seeing and what you're trying to interpret. And it's going to take some practice, but after a while you'll kind of sort of figure out your observation and paying close attention to what the figure is actually doing. Start to pick up on ways to kind of convey the forces at work behind what brings the figure to life, and what gives it a sense of gravity and action or meaning or purpose to it. And that's going to take quite a bit of practice and observation and correction and critique as we keep moving on it. So we're going to be getting started on some twos. So let's walk through this 2-minute one. This one I actually might rewind a little bit. I'm going to try to strategize about what we're going to do for twos. The first thing you want to do with twos, don't draw them right away. Look at it. Give it a good look. Maybe even like hold your pencil, close one eye and hold your pencil up in front of your face and kind of draw out in space over it. I don't mean actually physically draw on it. I mean like kind of ghost your lines in front of your face, so to get a sense of what you're going to do when you draw. Once you kind of have a general kind of strategy, what you're probably going to want to do, you can start putting your lines down. You have more time to think in a 2-minute pose, you say. I'm going to do mostly the same thing that I would do from one, but I'm going to actually rewind this pose because I want to make sure I have enough time to kind of get the method that I'm going to be using down for the rest of the poses on this 2-minute session. And that is observe, strategize, and execute. So I did that one. I'm going to actually do the pose again. I'll reset the timer. Actually, I'm going to use this more. Actually, I'm going to go to this pose because this is a simpler pose for me to kind of strategize around. And on that note, I'm going to try to maybe skip the poses that give us better simplicity for doing this. So start with that. Get kind of a ghosting of the line sense of the S curve I'm going to need to draw for this. This one I may actually do for the 2-minute reset thing. I'm going to do that actually right now. Make this one a 3-minute pose. I have another strategy in mind. I need to kind of warm up to before I'm going to do it. For this one, this time I'm going to establish the head with a side plane. And now I'm getting a little bit of anatomy stuff. I'll talk about this in a sec. I'm trying to strategize about how I'm going to like insert some anatomy practice in here. Trying to come up with a model for what I could use for that within 2 minutes. If you don't mind, I'm going to reset the timer one more time. We have oodles of time to work on this particular pose. Now that I've kind of experimented with those two methods, I have an idea of what I'm going to do now. All right, so that's not working. Because these are twos, it's okay for me to get a little spillover on them as I kind of work out these lines and stuff. Not quite calibrated to what I want to do with this just yet. Maybe lower opacity on it, and I'm going to, let's see here. Use my initial gesture to add some details to this. Corrections. Sorry, we're going to stick on this pose a little longer. The timer for the 2s hasn't officially started yet, by the way. So this is almost kind of like an extended demo. If you guys don't mind. What I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to find a happy medium between the simple gestures that we've drawn tonight and some kind of like use of like simple tube shapes connecting with the torso and stuff for like the limbs. Something like this. And parts of the body that we might like make a little bit more dimensional. I'm gonna take one other quick crack at her again in the like 40 seconds I have left. Real quick. I know what I could do. There's a chart I have that I can use as a cheat. Okay, so the chart I have right here should help me a little bit more. Okay, Google, set timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes, and that's starting now.
I'm just gonna kind of keep more oriented to the 2-minute technique right here. Sorry about this. This is like a big gear shift from what I'm trying to do. Kind of need to like recalibrate a little bit for these. If I can put on screen a good example of like what would be. That's a good example right there. That one uses a combination of mannequinization and gesture. Let's see, that one actually might be a better example. I'll get through these a little bit more. Yeah, that's really nice right there. I'm gonna leave that one up there. Let's see what I can do now. Not be very talkative right now because I'm trying to focus my energy on getting into this. Very piecemeal, but at least I'm like not being super sketchy. Shoulders, let me see here. I found a way to hold the pencil just now that feels a lot nicer too. That's probably going to help me a little bit. Back through and try to emphasize the interconnected shapes a little bit better. Time I have left. All right. Skip that guy. Find a better pose. And I think we can do better than that. Let's skip through here until we find. Oh, that's a good one. Confidence in the pose there midway through, but that's okay. The my first week, my first day back in gesture drawing, so let's find a better one. That's a good one. Okay, so Okay, add in like a O for the pelvis and O for the rib cage now. Let's see how much more information I can get into this in the minute I have left. Position that leg. There's something I'm trying to do right now that I'm struggling with the mental connection on because I'm out of practice on it, and that is like kind of simplified way of creating dimensionality in poses. I'm out of practice right now, so it's not making it, the mental circuits aren't quite connecting. They should be. That's okay. We'll be doing more sessions of these because this is a sign that yes, Dan, yes, Spacedad, you should be doing this. Getting back to doing this again. I stopped doing it because I lost confidence in doing it, and I was getting a little bit burned out. I needed some time trying some other things for a little while, like anatomy and so on. But now I'm saying, yeah, I'm ready to get back into it. It's gonna take me some false starts, but I think coming back to it, stressing line confidence is gonna help. These kind of simple gestural lines. I'm going to take a little time out from this pose to do an invented anatomy study based on the gesture I just did. So let's see here. Get my landmarks in. Iliac crest, pelvic bone, belly button, pit of the neck, manubrium process, sternum, clavicle, it's going to be going back behind the body, back over there. Sternomastoid, trapezius, there. Bottom of the rib cage, bottom corners of the rib cage. I think it's called the sacrum, is it? I don't know.
Sacrum's the lower part of the spine.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was just thinking that's the little thing back there. If I was drawing X-ray for this thing. Yeah, you're right. So let's make the collarbone a little clearer there. Let's use the Ethan Becker patented, invented by him, face wedge. Let's see here. Get the insertions of the bicep in there, or the insertions of the pectoralis into the bicep. Gap here between the deltoid and the pectoralis major. Let's go over here. That fuses to the bottom of the pectoralis major, goes up over there. There's deltoid, covering all that up. Bicep going down that way. Trapezius back there. No. Latissimus dorsi back there. I think the serratus would be about here. That. The abdominals right here. Sternal obliques right here. Yeah, like you can take a gesture drawing, like if you're trying to memorize something like anatomy or whatever, you can take a gesture drawing that you've done and extrapolate enough from it to do something like this, like an anatomy drill from memory in this case. Adam's apple right there. Create that little gap between the trapezius and the neck muscle. I think the serratus would actually be more over here. Trapezius is doing its own thing. It's really there. Trapezius is doing its own thing, wrapping over the back there. There we go. See if there's any more I can do. I can probably do one on this guy. Here. He was wearing a jacket, but I can just invent on top of it. Actually, no, that's kind of a bad angle for me, I think. Go back through this. So I'm going to be mainly working on like the back muscles next week, because I have a pretty good. I'll keep continually drilling the front muscles or the front anatomy of the torso, but there's like a lot of stuff with the deltoid that I'm really going to have to drill because the deltoid does so many bizarre things. Like the whole shoulder area is just so complex. That fuses more like in there. Like that. Let's see what happens if I, with that underlying information, let's see what happens when I draw a figure pose on top of it. Good. Yeah, then you can like start. You can use use gesture to kind of start drawings or character ideas that you might do. Let's see, like you invent a head for this guy. Okay, Google stop. Okay, Google set timer 5 minutes. Okay, Google set timer 5 minutes.
5 minutes, and that's starting now.
I'm going to keep running with this drawing right here for a little bit longer, but I think I kind of want to do the 5-minute poses. Actually, no, I think I'm pretty exhausted, so I feel like I'm going to get a little bit burned on the 5-minute poses. But I'm going to leave, how much time we got? We got about 10 minutes, actually. I'll put on maybe like the 5-minute poses for y'all in here, but this is what I'm going to be doing right now. This is like not too dissimilar from like what I would do at the beginning of if I'm like more in drawing shape, at the beginning of a figure drawing session, like about like the second, roughly about like the second pose sesh in, when I'm in better drawing shape. Like the kind of stuff I was showing off in the portfolio where I work out the character model of what I'm going to be drawing, of the figure that of the model that I'm going to be drawing for the evening. I'm kind of like getting myself back into that vein. So like this guy is kind of like like if I was going to get multiple poses of this guy, this is something along the lines of the character model that I would use for him. Get that on screen for you. I want to get back in the practice of doing that. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
There's 1 minute and 57 seconds left.
If people don't mind, I'm going to actually. Okay, this. We're going to pick some good 5-minute poses to do for the remainder of the time here. That is a good one. That,
Oh,
one,
but
that
you
one actually shows person
shark
image.
and
That one I
stuff.
think I actually will do with Phil.
Homa. I work Kirsty for life. Have fun.
What?
I have no idea what that was about. We heard like one half of a conversation, I think.
Bruh. Do you even know?
I don't even know what he's. Who's he talking to?
Can you speak crab?
What?
Is he talking to me?
Homa.
Olma?
Rage soon.
Yes.
Do it.
What? I'm so confused. This is some.
And my,
Bruh. Bruh.
yeah.
Homa, put your shoe on your head.
Okay, Google, stop.
No, I'm not gonna put a shoe on my head.
You have to.
Is that someone you know? I'm so confused why they would ask you to do that.
I don't know either. It's not anyone I know.
Rage soon. Put a shoe on your head.
Okay. It's not. He's
Yeah,
clearly
me,
not going
yeah.
to do that, my dude. So, I don't know what to tell you. That's cool. So, the fun thing about gesture is I feel like you nail the gesture pretty decently, or if you nail it really well, then you can add like your other knowledge and information on top of it, like the anatomy stuff I was showing off. And now you actually see right here, now that I'm doing like a 5-minute pose, that I had time to kind of draw some anatomy on for the other one that I was doing. Now I'm kind of wrapping my head around that stuff that I was kind of wrestling with earlier. A little more warmed up. That just goes to show we need to do more of these. I'm going to start prescribing more of these. I don't know if I'll be streaming them all the time, but I sure as hell am going to be doing more of these streamed through my Discord server for other people who are there. And I think these would be really great. These kind of studies would be really great. We don't have to like necessarily do like a full 3-hour session every time, but like little bits and chunks here and there would be great. But like we can maintain the muscle instead of letting it atrophy. Get the quick sketch muscles going. "51 seconds and I already got this much down. Jeez. Actually, probably went more detail than I should have, but like that's the big difference. Like I spent some time kind of doing my own thing on that little other pose, and now I've got confidence, and my eye is a little bit more warmed up now. They'll have that happen to you sometimes. Like you finally will start getting decent drawings at the very end of a figure drawing session. because I did come into this kind of cold. Like I haven't done figure drawing in a while, so or the time pose figure drawing specifically. We've been doing an awful lot of like anatomy study from figures and other things though. Alright, so I don't know if that'd be good for a 5 minute. Let's pick a nice, clear, clean 5 minute pose that we can really sink our teeth into to finish off tonight with. Let's see. What's a good one? Give me a good one. Might need to go into my athletes folder for a good one. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Or let's try this. It's one. There might be some clear poses in here, but let's find one. A lot of parkour stuff here. I did see one that I have done before that I don't think I want to do again. That's a good one. I'm going to do the one on the lower right. So, right. I'm going to start with my gesture. There we go. Nice light touch gesture. I mean, that's basically a 30-second pose right there. So now I can do more with it. Put that center line in there. The tilt of the pelvis. Kind of plot somewhere maybe about here was the kneecap, somewhere around there. Kneecap bending on the left side here a little bit more. More of a straight here that I can fix too.
Done with my rage smoke. Time to talk to home again. Bruh.
What?
We cool, right? Home, are we cool?
What?
Talking to Homer.
Dude, they don't even know you, my dude.
Homer. Yeah, but we're cool.
Either he's hot micing and he doesn't know it, or he's trolling.
I don't know.
I don't know. I had him on mute after that whole ordeal.
They were talking to you?
I guess so, but I don't know who that is.
I'm so confused. This is why I was afraid of doing hot mic. Well, not this specifically. This is just confusing. But like, yeah. Like people hot micing on stream and it being very annoying. Lower opacity on her. Maybe change my color here. It took me a lot of wrestling this evening, getting warmed up and stuff, but now I'm starting to kind of feel my observation skills come back, and I'm going to take an opportunity to kind of spend the next 2 minutes I have putting in some like basic forms of like parts of the construct the parts of the body. The rib cage here. You know what I'd like to be sponsored by if I ever if my channel ever became a success?
Raid Shadow Legends?
No. Steelcase. Maker of really good ass chairs, basically. As I don't really think I would probably, unless I got like a really good sponsorship deal, I'm not sure I would want to accept a sponsorship from like a gamer chair company. Oh, Wacom, yeah, I would love to accept Wacom, Huion, XP-Pen, Clip Studio. I use Clip Studio extensively, so I mean, if they wanted to sponsor me, hey, fine. Oh, that was it, huh? Wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna see. Maybe try to finish off a little bit more of this pose. Finish off the evening with. That will have been a good work day. 27 people still in here. Cool. Stay in here a little bit longer. I've got a couple things I need to share before we end the stream. So first off, I'm curious if there's anybody in Twitch chat or Classroom chat, or even in voice for that matter. Have you not joined my new personal offsite server for my classes recently? Yeah, this is a little. It's not too confident. This pose I did. I'm not completely warmed up and in tune with everything, but at least I'm not going nuts and stuff. I'm like making more controlled decisions. This is like the warm up day that you take before you start like hitting your stride in a day or two of more of this kind of stuff. So I might sneak some of this same practice sometime in tomorrow. Yeah, I'm glad that I decided to do these last two poses because it's a little closer to how if I was more warmed up that I would be doing things around the second or third session in tonight. You haven't joined yet, but you're gonna after the stream. Do you have the link? I'll link it again. Here it is. And I'll link it again in the Discord. Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much done here, so I'm gonna see. I'm gonna look at some of the people's stuff. Don't leave just yet, though. By the way, I've got a couple things I need to go over with everyone here. Like, first off, tomorrow Saturday class, 2:30 p.m. Me and Maxie, one of the other instructors from my Discord, are going to be doing a. Here, let me find it. Here it is. This is what we're going to be assigning people for this week. It's a deceptively difficult animation test, but just take your time with it, and where you have to in about 5 or 6 poses, convey the weight and stuff of a starting from this pose. This is the only pose you get. Draw 5 or 6 pictures that end with him hitting the stake. Please draw the character without changing his size. That means maintain his volume. And it's harder than it looks. And here's a Studio Ghibli and Toei veteran showing it off. And in this documentary that this clip is from, he talks about how deceptively hard this test is. So you need 5 or 6 drawings to convey this action. ends with him hitting the stake. See how it turned out for this master right here. Master veteran of the Japanese animation industry. Lovely. So if you do need reference to look at to how to do it right, you can look at that. I would say even you can try copying his poses for your first crack at the test, but you do want to kind of learn how to do it yourself. But here is the link to it. Actually, that's a big ass link. So here, let me link a smaller link to it again. Classroom chat. Go. I'll link it there. I think you're a little bit more successful with this one. Now, this one got a little unsure. I do like how you did like the side plane and stuff, and it looks like you were able to work stuff out more. This one feels a little bit more confident. I did like how you handled this arm here, though. I'm kind of mentally drained at the moment to do critiques, but coming back into gesture drawing and figure drawing after a hiatus from that is a real trip, isn't it? So there's that. Remember to join the new Discord I have if you need an invite link. It's right here, and it's all. I also posted it in the Twitch chat. Double link that again because in the Twitch chat, because why not? We're going to be doing a lot more stuff through my Discord. We might start teaching some of the classes through there. Maybe not all of them, but like some of them. But I do know that we're going to be doing more homework stuff. We'd be doing kind of like stuff like this that isn't uploaded to YouTube, that isn't a Twitch stream, that isn't uploaded to YouTube, but that are good study sessions. Like earlier today, we were going over some Clip Studio stuff together, trying to learn how to use that software better. And I'm thinking that's probably how we'll do stuff with like Blender. Like I remember how I kept having like a set day for Blender. We're still going to try to do that on this Sunday for learning Blender. But I do like the idea of we create an environment on my little home server here where we organically kind of meet up and work on homework and stuff together in here, or in the drawing corner we were doing earlier today. In the drawing corner voice to like work on our own homework stuff and figure out software things and other things like that, whatever we're trying to struggle with, whatever we're trying to learn, and so on. So this is going to be a really kind of chill place. I like that I have a lot more control over this server than Ethan's server, so that like the kinds of people that would want to hang out here would be more focused on, we're gonna still chill out and still have fun, and you can't do like drawing games and things like that, but I like that there's it feels right out of the gate, it feels like that this is gonna be a lot more successful at study focused stuff. It just like organically chilling out and doing study focus than how it feels for me on hanging out in the Ethan server voice rooms. That should be neat. Yeah, remember to join and remember to check out if you want like regular pings of stuff, you can join the Super Space Cadets, which will give more frequent pings of like server events and things of like there's an explanation here. So in addition to all that, I think there was somebody who subbed me on. No, there was the person who subbed me on Twitch Prime was 2 days ago. But let's take a look and see if I have any shout outs to do real quick before the stream goes down. Let's see. I think we good. But yeah, I do want to thank Shrek Destroyer for the commission, which I've actually posted in. It's the semi-completed commission. I've got a few additional tweaks I want to do with it, but it's like my very first commission for one of the users over at Discord. This is of a friend of his. And I'm going to be doing more of them in the future when I get more commissions. Yeah. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to close down the stream now.
Congratulations! 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 Congratulations!
Congratulations.
Congratulations!
Congratulations.
Congratulations! Congratulations!
Congratulations.
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Congratulations! Thank you all.